ICE is clearing out New York City Immigration Court as we speak.
They're clearing the whole building out.
Yes, but I just...
What the heck?
Wait, I have the right for due process, don't I? So why are you groping me like this?
Oh, this guy's got jokes.
The right to due process is over. You went through the court process and now you are
leaving.
leaving.
The due process is over. That's why they're getting arrested. They're
That's
leaving
what I
court,
said.
not entering. Who's this? Oh, this little guy right here.
Dang, they got a whole crew around, homeboy.
Wait, are they arresting more than one person? This is crazy. Look how many agents there are.
I love ICE's tactical defense stance right here. The infamous T-pose. They're building a wall temporarily with their bodies using the T-pose strategy here.
They got bulletproof vests, masks. All these people taking their pictures. Their families are in danger. And look, they just gotta wait for the elevator while this is happening, and the whole press is around them. And now watch, they're gonna have to go to the elevator. It's just total mayhem.
I wonder how many people they're gonna remove from this building.
Who they got this time? Ooh. Wow.
They just putting him in the corner, dude.
They need so
They're like, sit down in this corner and think about what laws you broke. Think about what you've done.
many agents because this is dangerous. They could get attacked. Okay, no audio means someone is saying something that we're not supposed to hear. That's why the New York Post muted this video. Look at this guy right here. They've got him. This guy's saying something. Yes, there must be some conversation right now that we're not supposed to know about. But when you watch this stuff, it's important to understand most of the people being deported lied to get into this country.
And you're 100% right. That was the biggest thing, was all these false claims. So we went to heaven, you know, catch and release, all these people coming in with these fake claims who are still here right now with court dates down the road. And now he wants to turn it back to catch and release and just open it back up. We have the most secure border right now under President Trump and Secretary Noem, and this only sets us back with
Yeah, that's right. I heard that this month there has been so far 0 illegal border crossings. That's huge. That's amazing. That's super safe.
These radical left agendas.
Right there, acting ICE director. Most people filed fraudulent asylum claims to begin with, which is why they're being deported. But what activists are really upset about is U.S. citizens who are hostile to America could lose their naturalized citizenship. Listen to this.
As the Trump administration boosts its immigration enforcement, the Department of Justice is issuing a directive now aimed at naturalized citizens.
Stripping away citizenship for naturalized Americans who commit certain crimes.
Great idea.
Ranging from fraud to war crimes.
Sure. I think that's okay.
Really what this means is the Department of Justice is prioritizing potentially stripping naturalized citizens of their citizenship in a way that we haven't seen in the past, and is doing so potentially on a much broader scale.
Loyola
From
law professor
war
Jessica
criminals.
Levinson says
Why do they want war
denaturalization
criminals?
is rare in recent U.S. history, and when it was used, it was sparingly for very specific cases.
Oftentimes it's based on lying to say that you were eligible to be a citizen at all, or committing some sort of fraud prior to becoming a naturalized citizen.
So if someone gets citizenship and they lied, why should they get to keep it? They stole it.
Or crimes that are listed that would qualify for...
It's like if you get found out that you cheated on a test in medical school, you can have your license revoked. That same rule makes sense when it's applied here.
Of their citizenship.
The list in the memo includes people who engage in torture, human rights violations,
torture,
and those who further the enterprise of criminal gangs.
Get rid of those people.
Also, those who committed fraud, including fraud of the Paycheck Protection Program or the PPP loan program.
If you show up, I'm getting flashbanged right now. 1 second.
Also,
if you show up to this country on false accusations and claims, and then you start torturing people, I think that's a good basis to kick you the fudge out.
listed. Any other cases referred to the civil division that the division determines to be sufficiently important.
We don't
to
want these
pursue.
people in our country.
Language critics say is both broad and dangerous.
Oh my gosh.
And maybe you think on the face of it, I'm not in trouble for this. This isn't me. But you really don't know how broadly it can
Oh
be
my
impacted.
goodness. They are just trying to scare people, but you know who's scared? The future mayor of New York City.
It's a total nut job. I think the people of New York are crazy. If they go this route, I think they're crazy. We will have a communist for the first time, really, a pure, true communist.
We understand that democracy is under attack from both. It is under attack from Washington, D.C., and it's under attack from within.
What did he say?
We understand that democracy is under attack.
Democracy is under attack, so let's become communists. Big brain move, brother. Big brain move.
From both. It is under attack from Washington, D.C.,
Oh my
and it's under
gosh,
attack from
shut
within.
up.
Zoran Mamdani fires back at President Trump after Mr. Trump promised to save New York City, calling Mamdani.
I have a solution for the attack on democracy, and that is to remove democracy completely. At least from New York. How awesome. What a great line of thinking.
While yesterday, Mamdani responded to the president's threats that he'll have him arrested if Mamdani blocks ICE deportations in New York.
Ultimately, it is easier for him to fan the flames of division than to acknowledge the ways in which he has betrayed those working class Americans, not just in this city, but across this country. What I fear for is that if this is what Donald Trump and his administration feel comfortable about saying about the Democratic nominee for the mayor of New York City, imagine what they feel comfortable saying and doing about immigrants whose names they don't even know.
Actually, whether or not you're the nominee for mayor of New York City has nothing to do with it. If you say you're going to get elected and actively resist the federal government and actively do things that are a crime and the president says he'll arrest you, well, that makes sense, doesn't it?
I'm not going to let the communist lunatic destroy New York. Rest assured, I hold all the levers and have all the cards. I'll save New York City and make it hot and great again, just like I did with the good old USA. I wonder, Joe, if the president is getting involved and speaking up and speaking out against Mamdani, because I don't see any Democrats that are.
Well, that's exactly right. We saw Eric Adams before not get drawn into that. Andrew Cuomo pretty silent to this point, and obviously leaders like Hakeem Jeffries or Nancy Pelosi or Kamala Harris will not speak out against Mamdani, who, again, this is somebody who is proposing things that are not of this world or even this galaxy. I mean, in terms of universal free childcare, free busing, government-run supermarkets, seizing the manufacturing industry by the government, defunding the police, making sure ICE doesn't deport one illegal migrant out of this country who may have committed horrific crimes. So,
well, maybe they're not speaking out against him because they agree with him. Maybe that's a guess.
You look at all of that, and there's plenty to criticize here. And unless your name's John Fetterman, it seems that Democrats are very, very hesitant to criticize a man clearly who is embracing communist proposals and to this point has been winning on those because young voters seem to be attracted to getting a lot of free stuff.
But there's another reason why other Democrats refuse to criticize Zoran Mamdani, the now Democrat nominee for mayor, and that's because he's at the top of the protected class hierarchy.
And that's what I will do.
What does that mean?
I am Donald Trump's worst nightmare as a progressive Muslim immigrant who actually fights for the things that I believe in.
Protected Muslim immigrant. Okay.
The difference between myself and Andrew Cuomo.
Right. So what you just heard right there makes him totally immune from criticism from his own party. Plus, it's not like he doesn't promote things the entire party believes in anyways. They're going to vote for him in New York, and they're going to love it.
Why do you think that is? I mean, it's true. I mean, Mamdani seems to have a chokehold on these highly educated, younger voters.
They love him.
Those were the people who came out for him, who got on social media, TikTok, and did all the videos for him. What is going on? Is this more about socialism, or is this kind of it's
about flipping the table. If you have a lineup of politicians to vote for and 5 of the 6 are going to do the exact same thing that's been done for 100 years in a row, your best bet is to vote for somebody that is going to just rip the script in half. And that's what this guy is going to do. And albeit I disagree with like what he's saying and what he stands for, but I do understand why he is winning this race. And there's a high chance that he gets elected which is insane, but it makes sense. I understand.
Pushback
it's the
on
Trump
resistance
movement in full swing.
New Yorker, I was not actually surprised by the results here because I think my generation does kind of go off of vibes and feels more than actual policy positions or the practicality of them. I mean, I don't think that he will get any of these things past Albany realistically, but he is young and relatable to the typical young person in terms of how he appears on social media compared to Cuomo, who's sort of seen as the old guard or the sort of traditional Democrat. And so I think this is sort of an expression of youth nihilism in politics where they just want something new and different, even if it's crazy and exotic and it's government takeover of the supermarkets tomorrow. It's like, whatever, we don't care, and we'll show up to the polls to just vote for anything other than what we have, which is kind of a sad expression of the state.
Okay, that's part of it. But the other part, I mean, who was his competition in the Democrat primary? Former Governor Cuomo,
his competition, I'll put it simply, lame ass old politicians that would put Israel first. I mean, they had a debate on television and they were each asked the first place they would visit to if they were elected. All of them said Israel. And this guy, the one that might win, he's the only one that said he would stay in New York City. Based freaking take. That makes sense. If I want a leader overseeing my city, they better freaking stay in it. Don't go to Israel. Are you joking?
Resigned because of harassment and has a whole bunch of problems of his own. That guy never stood a chance. I don't even know why he was up there as the quote-unquote front runner. He got absolutely demolished. People don't want to vote for that.
And I think some people would make the argument that some of these young people are learning this at their universities, right? So I want to move on to this topic, what's happening at Columbia University, where the president, Claire Shipman, just apologized for something. I mean, it's unbelievable. She writes this: "Let me be clear, the things I said in a moment of frustration and stress were wrong. They do not reflect how I feel. It was a moment of immense pressure over a year and a half ago as we navigated some deeply turbulent times. But that doesn't change the fact that I made a mistake." This is about trying to get rid of a Jewish member and trying to bring, I believe, an Arab in. I mean, Joe, you've been following this story.
Columbia's crazy.
I don't even know if you can apologize your way out of this.
I don't think you can, Aisha. I mean, Claire Shipman, if that name sounds familiar, by the way, that's because she used to be a pretty big deal over at ABC News. And now for her to just apologize and simply walk away from what she said, sorry, there needs to be far more accountability.
Who do you think the people on the screen right here are going to vote for? Who do you think they're going to vote for? You think they're going to vote for somebody like President Trump or for somebody who's the opposite of President Trump?
This is the challenge for Democrats. They have appeared to be stuck. And I believe they started being stuck in the middle of Biden's administration, and that continued with Harris's candidacy, but has been, still staying there since the election and since the inauguration. They can't seem to get their footing in a way to appeal to the middle of the country. To win presidential elections, you have to be able to appeal to the working class, and they're not putting forth those ideals that will bring them over.
So Democrats in New York City have lined up between Zohran Mamdani. Listen to what some of his democratic socialist agenda is.
Our police force should not be assisting ICE.
Defund the NYPD and refund all of these different social services.
I will create a network of city-owned grocery stores. It's like a public option for produce.
I'll freeze the rent for millions of tenants, make buses fast and free, and deliver universal childcare. And before you ask, I'll pay for it by taxing the rich.
As mayor, New York City would arrest Benjamin Netanyahu.
Okay, so he says all of that, but you have to understand something about New York City. Even though he says he's going to tax the rich, you've got to understand these rich people, they hate President Trump so much that they're still going to vote for their own taxes and their own livelihoods to be potentially destroyed. I mean, just look at how New York City residents in these rich white neighborhoods that are now going to get taxed heavily voted 84% for Kamala Harris. How are those people?
Yeah, also, this dude did state in a previous post somewhere that he would be taxing specifically richer, and I'm serious, whiter neighborhoods. He put that in the text. So I don't know why somebody would ever vote for someone who would disenfranchise them based off of their skin color, but I think these people will.
People gonna vote Republican in some upcoming election. They're not. Whoever's got a D next to their name is going to get the vote of those people because they're voting for the opposite of Donald Trump, and they don't care what that is. If Trump's over here, they're voting over here. And I guess this is what being a city, a sanctuary city as part of a resistance movement is all about. Anyways.
Sanctuary, yeah. Sanctuary for shit.
What do you think about that? Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.
Dude, freaking New York is such a crazy freaking place, dude. I went there once. And in the first 5 minutes of me walking around, I saw like naked homeless people in cardboard boxes stuffed between two buildings. And then like 2 seconds after, a stormtrooper, or not even a stormtrooper, the stormtrooper comes later. A guy was like, want some snow, want some blow, want some yo? Want some snow, want some blow? He was asking me if I wanted to purchase cocaine, but he was also asking everybody that was walking past him. So we sit down, we get some pizza. I'm with some boys, you know, we're out there doing sales in the summer of like 2018, something like that. And a stormtrooper in like a onesie stormtrooper costume and like a one-sided mask, you know, like one of the shitty like stormtrooper masks that doesn't even wrap around your full head. He pulls up and he looks at us, lifts the mask and says, "Any of y'all want some weed?" One of the kids I was with was like, hell yeah. They went to an ATM. They figured out their shebang. But yeah, that's my experience in New York. So it makes sense that they're going to vote for this guy. Crazy people do crazy things. And it's just a crazy city overall. I'm excited to see where things go here.